What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this holy mess. I wanted to share this. This showed up in my feed, and I was like, this is an interview from about 3 weeks ago where John Gray's wife, Aventer, she sat down with a media personality. He goes by the name Willie Moore Jr., and he has a podcast. He's also got a radio show, like a gospel radio show. But anyway, I listened to it just because I was interested to see what she was going to talk about, because I haven't heard about her in a minute. But several months ago, a woman came forward. She had a conversation with Tasha K. And Tasha K shared that conversation on the app. Now, I don't know if you all heard it, but to me, listening to it, Tasha K allowed the woman to say the things that she wanted to say about John Gray and this emotional connection and relationship she felt like they were having, all via online. They never met in person. But Tasha K did go in on the woman because it was like, girl, you already know that this is a married man. You already know that he has had other women come forward and talked about their situations with him. And so I don't really know what you're expecting of me in this situation, but she did check her, but she allowed her to say what she had to say. And so, all of the scandals that have come out about John Gray and how he and she, meaning Aventer, his wife, remember how she went off on the pulpit when he was preaching, and she stepped in and took the mic, and she was pretty much like standing up for her man, talking about the reason he's had these emotional infidelities is because of his upbringing and the teenage John and all this other foolishness that she was talking about that I still to this day don't understand. But they're still together. They're still married, which is fine. I have no issues with that. But she said something in this interview that to me just shows me some things. And I just wanted to play a part of this so that you could check it out. So I'm going to go ahead, play this clip, and then I'm going to continue with my commentary because it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs when it comes to marriages as a whole for the most part anyway, as well as definitely for African American marriages, because there is a lot of stigma when it comes to the men in the African American community. A lot of people feel like none of them are faithful. They're all losers. That and it's a sad state of affairs for marriages when it comes to that. But to have someone who is supposed to be in the Christian world, where I believe a lot of marriages are stemmed from, because marriage is talked about in the Bible, whether people believe the Bible or not, I'm just basically saying. And to have someone who has publicly been humiliated and has gone through a lot with her husband, him talking about how she's lazy, she doesn't cook, all she wants to do is order pizza, and just a lot of negative things that he's said about her. To me, she sounds like a woman who is just in this as a business at this point and not because of love. And that's a sad state of affairs, but everyone has the right to choose and do what they want to do for their own lives. And I know that they have children. I don't know how old their children are, but when I heard her speaking about it, I said, yeah, this ain't right. So let's just go ahead and get into this.
I understand what won your yes, because John is such a great guy, and he actually told you, he was honest, that we about to go on this roller coaster. But the roller coaster became very, very hard to ride on. Mm-hmm. What won your stay in the midst of all of the public scrutiny, the mistakes? Like, you...
Did you catch that? He said, in the midst of all of the public scrutiny and the mistakes. John did not make mistakes. He made bad choices and bad decisions. I've always said this, and for those of you who've been here for a while, I say that mistakes often are labeled as mistakes by people who make bad choices and bad decisions because they don't want to take accountability. A mistake is writing the wrong date on a check, or using you have two debit cards, both are red, and you're in the store. One debit card is for an account that you never use, so you don't have any money in it, and then the other one is for the account you use all the time, and you accidentally use the wrong debit card. That's a mistake. You constantly communicating with other women while you're married and complaining about your wife and showing your alleged short ding dong in pictures and requesting screenshots and doing FaceTimes of women showing you their breasts, that's not a mistake. So when this guy says to her in the midst of the mistakes, what are you talking about? Those were not mistakes that he made. So I just wanted to stop it right there for a moment because that burned me.
Flat-footed and was like, I'm going to stick beside this man.
More Love You More podcast after this.
More.
Wow. To check out the first episode, log on to loveyoumore.com.
Public scrutiny, the mistakes. Like, you stood flat-footed and was like, I'm going to stick beside this man.
You know what's crazy is that I was going to whoop John's ass many times. So
now listen, I personally don't have an issue with anyone using colorful language if you are in this church world, but I don't believe before all of the things that she went through with him that she would be speaking like this publicly. So to me, that also is an indication and an indicator of where she is at this point in time, where she's just like, I'm exhausted, I'm done, but I'm just going to stick in this because this is a business for us at this point.
People say, be like Aventer Gray. What Aventer Gray do you want? Yeah. You know, you see what you see, but I think what people fail to realize is that they're very real humans here. Yeah. Just because you stand on a platform and God called you to it doesn't mean you're not a man, you're not a woman with humanity, with issues. Initially, you're like, what in the world is going on? But then I was like, wow, this predates me. This actually has nothing to do with me.
And you know, this is my issue with that, because she's absolutely right. She is a person. She's a human. She has feelings. She didn't ask to be publicly humiliated. She didn't ask to be cheated on. She didn't ask for any of those things. But she chose to stand in front of their congregation to pretty much blame the devil for what her husband was doing. Do you all remember that? Do you remember that? So to me, I'm not saying what she's saying right now makes her a hypocrite, but what she did then, it absolutely makes her a hypocrite, because if you are believing these things about you're a human and you have feelings and you was going to whip John's ass, then why would you stand in front of the congregation, get them riled up? Because, yeah, I had to talk to that devil, pretty much speaking about the other woman. And getting the congregation riled up to like, yeah, that's our first lady. Speak on it. Preach. So that they could get emotional, get hyped up, and then really give a big offering. Do you get my point? So let me go ahead and continue.
How did you get mentally there?
Because you do counsel and you do therapy and you get low and you stay low and you don't put on for the city. A lot of times and I love makeup, I love hair, because you get ready and you love looking good and feeling good. It's beautiful. All of that's great. God gave us all of these, things that we can connect to make us feel good. But at the end of the day, when you take all of that off, who are you? Yeah. And I think, again, I want my husband to speak to him. Yeah. But I had to realize, at first you're like, well, wait just a minute. What just happened? And I said this, I think I said it in an interview with Larry. I was not the best wife at the beginning because I immediately became mother and was like, oh, you're all right. You get what I'm saying? So, but people don't get my side. They don't get my mistakes. They don't get and it doesn't justify whatever emotional situations that he had going on, which people still think he did X, Y, and Z. Child, what I know is what I know. What people fabricate is what they fabricate.
So she's pretty much trying to deny the proof that Tasha K has on him making what she calls, or Willie Moore Jr. called, mistakes. But now she's trying to say, well, I know what he has done and what he has not done. Okay, girl, whatever helps you sleep at night.
And I didn't know we were going to go out here, but what I want to say for people is that marriage is a real life commitment to God on behalf of the other person, not to the person.
That's so...
Whoa. Girl, get up out of here. See, she is trying to redefine marriage for the sake of giving her solace to stay in it. Because marriage, like, if that's the truth, then why even commit to be in a relationship with another person where you're making it legal if you're just being committed to God? You might as well go and become a nun.
You're making a commitment to God in front of them. God, I'm going to honor you for this person. I'm going to do what you said for this person.
Bull. Bull crap. Oh my God. That is the most ridiculous thing that I ever heard. But we are in a day and time now where people are redefining things for the sake of their own comfort and to try to get other people to believe in this phallus, this facade that they're trying to perpetrate.
On behalf of this person's in sickness and in health, till death do us part. And death do us part is a long time. So you can't look at that part. You got to look at when you wake up in the morning, doing what you can do that day, and then going to bed, wake up and do it again for that day. Because that longevity piece will have you in the cloud somewhere, and you already feel defeated because of what happened in the garden. Like we're all sinners. We're gonna wake up and mess up, no matter how hard we try to do it right and to get it right. We're going to mess up. It's just here. It's in us, and so you're not finished when you give your life to Christ. Like, it's a work that takes place over the course of your life. You don't arrive just because you've succeeded and made, this amount of money and attained this many followers and all of that. Success looks different for different people. Success for me is looking at my children being able to say, mommy's Adidas weren't at the door at the first sign of, heartbreak or whatever. Mommy looked at herself. I didn't just place the blame all on that. It's a collective situation here. I have been a lot, but I also know that a lot of whatever came out or manifested in my husband was due to childhood traumas that Black men don't deal with and haven't had the opportunity to deal with, because you always got to be on. You have to work harder because you're Black. You have to do more because you're Black.
Pausing it there for a moment, and I'm not going to play much more of this. I'm going to put the link in the description if you want to watch the whole entire video or interview. But listen, that is a true statement about the trauma of everyone, not just Black men who, have not dealt with childhood trauma. But it's an issue when you are allowing that to be used as an excuse. Excuses shouldn't be tolerated. Yeah, there can be explanations, but for her to sit and continue on that line about his childhood trauma, and everybody's got a story, and not everyone's is on the same level, but everyone's got a story where they could try to use that to say, well, see, this is why I operated this way, because my mommy didn't love me. I didn't have a dad in my life. Like all of these different things. So the fact that she is even saying that, again, is to make it about, well, I am in this marriage because it has nothing to do with this imperfect person that I married that has continuously broken my heart and made me feel so low. I'm married pretty much to God. And I'm not saying she's saying he's God in the flesh. That's not what I'm saying. But she's basically trying to say, well, the commitment is to God, really, not to this man. And that's not true.
kind of push that to the side and provide for your home, provide for your family, and nobody asks you how you are. Yep. Nobody ever says, man, what's it like to care for a wife, for boys, for daughters? What's it like to wake up and realize that you have a whole household to care for, and it rises and falls on you standing up and getting up, showing up. Nobody ever does that for men. And then for Black men, that's the extra layer. And I think about, my husband, he really missed his father. You had a great mother, but she did what she could do for you. And that part of the manhood, that part got left out. And the overdoing of whatever she did, not her fault. She wasn't there for the abuse moment, so she ain't gonna miss no other moments. Yeah. So now it might be over the top, and there's that balance of trying to figure out what's too much, what's not enough for be there for my son, all of that kind of stuff. So that plays a part into it. And I just had to realize, I was like, man, this is crazy. And then you don't get the luxury of being in anonymity while this is happening. That part is extremely hard, because you get she's a rider, and then you get, she's a doormat. And I'm like, well, I am what God says. And that's what I had to connect to, because yes, tears, crazy. Did I leave and move and leave him and do all of that? Absolutely. Thank God, we still have our home in Houston. Left, went there, stayed there, all of that. You want to work on it? What do you want to work on it for? Because I'm not working on it for people. I'm working on it for, if you want this, it's, and you get everybody has something to say. Everybody has an opinion, but it's just eyes on God. Like, I'm standing on God's business. That's what I learned. I cannot respond to everybody. Like, if it gets too far, I'll be like, all right. Yeah. As initially, I would be like, no, that's wrong. No, this isn't an apology gift. This car was being built in February of 2018. Yeah. We were speaking somewhere for the NBA All-Stars. Was like, Lamborghini got a SUV, what? We go over there and build it, don't even have enough money. But book comes in and you like, boom, I'm going to get this for my wife. But people don't know the story, and I don't care to tell them.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. Yeah, people are going to talk just like I'm talking right now. And it doesn't require a response from her. She shouldn't have to respond to everything and everyone's thoughts and opinions about what's coming out. But the fact of the matter is, she has resolved to be in this, I would say, loveless marriage, and is using God as a scapegoat to say, well, I'm not in this for him. I'm in this for God. And that's lame. It's a lie, in my personal opinion. And it's BS. It's a holy mess. I wish her nothing but the best. I hope, that she doesn't. I'm not saying she can't even stay married to him, because to be honest with you, there are some people that say, look, we're in this. I don't want to get the courts involved. We just, you live your life and I live mine. And, because listen, I am not here to judge their relationship and how they do things, but from the things that I've heard her say, the things that I've heard the women that have come out that have done the things that they've done with him, or shared what they've shared with him, and the things he shared about her to these women, I could see that she's just pretty much like, I'm scarred and I'm done. But to try to use God as a scapegoat to say, well, look, I'm committed, and the commitment wasn't to my husband, the commitment is to God, and I'm doing what I'm doing on behalf of God. I don't think that is God's desire for anyone to be in a relationship and to be in a marriage, because it's like, well, this is what God wants me to do. It's a lame excuse. And also later on in the interview, she talks about their ministry that they have, their church, and how they've renamed the church Relentless Church, and it's going to be called Love Story. Weird in my opinion, but look, they're doing what they're doing to convince their congregation that this is a journey of love, and we're still in this, and we still want you to be in this, because they need those people's money to keep that church going. So there's a whole lot more that I could say and share, but I'm just going to end it there, and I would really love to know what you guys think. So you can let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.